So one of the ones I really like is the interactive REPL. So the interactive development capability we have in Convex is really inspired by Lisp-like languages. And there's a good reason for this. I was talking about runtimes early and how the decentralized running network effectively is your runtime. Now, in the world of Lisp-like languages and Lisp machines, that was the operating model that they always had. They always had this idea that you have a runtime which is continuously operating, and you as a developer connect to it and issue commands to the runtime, and get results back, input and output, etc., etc. And what that does is it lends itself to an interactive style of coding, where you can actually change code inside the runtime while it's running by interacting with the runtime directly. And you contrast that with like the traditional way of developing software, is you write your code in some kind of editor, and then you compile it, and that creates a binary, and then you run the binary, and then you see what your program does, and then if you like it, that's great. If you don't like it, you go back to the drawing board, write code, compile, run again, see what it does. And that's very different. What you do in Convex is you have the runtime continuously active. You connect to that runtime, and then you issue commands. And those commands can be to change the code. Yeah, I'd like to create some new code. I'd like to create a new function. I would like to define some new database. I'd like to create a value. I'd like to issue a new token. I'd like to register a decentralized identity. So all the different actions that you can take on the Convex network with relation to DeFi or Web3 capabilities, you can do through this sort of interactive development tool. And they call it a REPL in the Lisp world, so we kind of call it a REPL as well. But it's basically a read, evaluate, print loop. And what that means is you type in the command, the system that you're interacting with will read that instruction. It will interpret it, parse it, check if it's syntactically correct. If it is syntactically correct, it will evaluate it, and that means actually running it on the Convex network. So creating a transaction, submitting it to the network, letting it execute on the network, and then the P is the print. So it prints back to you the result. Here's what happened after I ran that transaction. And the L is just a loop. So it's REPL, R-E-P-L, and it just runs in this infinite loop. You just issue a command, get your result back, issue another command, get your result back. And it turns out you can sort of do anything you want with this model. Yeah, just by, either you're issuing a command or you're asking for some data and you're looking at the data that comes back. And you can do absolutely everything through this in Convex, or everything on the decentralized network.